For nearly 20 million years, one predator ruled the oceans with what felt like absolute authority. A shark that could stretch up to 60, maybe even 70 feet long, with a bite so powerful it made a T-Rex look tame. This was Megalodon, the most terrifying shark to ever live. Pause. Fact. Or was it? For millions of years, Autodus Megalodon was the undisputed king of the sea, a global titan held back only by the coastlines, but the title most fearsome is a heavy one, and history is full of contenders. To figure out if Megalodon really deserves the crown, we first have to wrap our heads around the terrifying scale of this creature. Then, we have to throw it into the ring with other giants of the deep, both ancient and modern, and see who comes out on top. The case for the king. Calling Megalodon big is like calling outer space roomy. It just doesn't do it justice. The fossil record paints a picture of a creature that's almost hard to believe. While the absolute biggest might have pushed an incredible 80 feet, most were likely in the 40 to 60 foot range, still longer than a city bus and weighing over 50 tons. The largest great white shark ever recorded would look like a guppy next to a full-grown megalodon. But size is only half the story. A predator is defined by its weapons, and megalodons were in a league of their own. Its name literally means giant tooth, and boy, did it deliver. Its teeth were serrated, triangular, and could be over 7 inches long, about the size of your hand. And these weren't just for slicing, they were for shattering. We've found fossilized whale bones with the unmistakable gashes from a megalodon attack, some with tooth tips still broken off inside them, a brutal testament to the power of its bite. And that bite, it's the stuff of nightmares. Scientists estimate its bite force was between 24,000 and 41,000 pounds per square inch. For perspective, a T-Rex topped out around 8,000 pounds per square inch, and a great white shark is around 4,000. Megalodon could have ripped through the rib cage of a whale with bone-crushing force. Based on the fossil evidence, its hunting strategy seems to have been brutally simple. Attack from the depths, ram its prey, and bite off the fins and tail to immobilize it before delivering that final, fatal blow. Its main course? The giant whales of the time, which were giants in their own right. For 20 million years, this was the reality. If you were a large animal in the ocean, you were living in Megalodon's world. It sat at the absolute top of the food chain, shaping entire marine ecosystems. Based on all that, the case seems pretty closed. Megalodon wasn't just a shark, it was a force of nature. The turn so, case closed, right? Megalodon is the undisputed champ. Well, what if the story isn't quite that simple? The ocean is a brutal place, and power is always being challenged. What if, lurking in the shadows of the ancient seas, other contenders were waiting for their shot at the title? To truly award the crown, we have to meet the challengers, and our first one lived at the exact same time as Megalodon, and it wasn't a shark at all. Challenger 1. The ancient rival meet Leviathan Melville. Yes, it's named after the biblical sea monster Leviathan and Herman Melville, the author of Moby Dick, which tells you everything you need to know. Leviathan was a hyper-carnivorous sperm whale, a whale that ate other whales. It lived in the same oceans, at the same time, and hunted the same prey as Megalodon. This wasn't just a competitor, this was a true rival. In terms of size, Leviathan was a solid match. It's estimated to have reached lengths of nearly 60 feet, and weighed in around 50 to 60 tons, putting it right in Megalodon's weight class. But Leviathan's weapons and brains were its real advantage. Unlike modern sperm whales, Leviathan had a mouth packed with the largest functional teeth of any animal in history, not counting tusks. Each tooth was over a foot long, we're talking the size of a loaf of bread. They weren't serrated for slicing like a shark's. They were thick, conical, and deeply rooted, built to grab struggling prey and inflict devastating trauma, a lot like a modern orca. And as a mammal, Leviathan likely had a much larger and more complex brain than Megalodon. It's strongly believed that it used echolocation to hunt, a huge sensory advantage in murky water. Plus, that giant head housed a spermaceti organ, which some theories suggest could have been used as a biological battering ram to stun prey or fight off rivals. So, in a hypothetical fight, who wins? It's the ultimate clash of titans, the shark's raw power versus the whale's calculated fury. Megalodon's best bet would be its classic sneak attack from below, trying to shear off a flipper. But if Leviathan detected the attack with its echolocation, the fight changes completely. Head-to-head, Leviathan's intelligence and bone-crushing bite give it a serious edge. While Megalodon was king of the sharks, Leviathan was a worthy contender for the throne of the entire ocean. Challenger 2, the modern opportunist. The threats to Megalodon's crown didn't just come from other giants. As the world changed, a smaller, scrappier, and maybe smarter killer was rising through the ranks, the great white shark. Now let's be clear, one-on-one, a great white has zero chance against a Megalodon. It's like a middleweight trying to fight a super heavyweight, but the fight for dominance isn't always a boxing match. Sometimes it's a war of attrition. The great white, Carcharodon carcharius, showed up around 4 million years ago, right during the last chapter of Megalodon's reign. For a while, they shared the ocean. The great white's secret weapon was its adaptability. As the planet cooled, the oceans changed. Megalodon was a warm water specialist with a massive metabolism, meaning it needed a constant supply of huge meals, like baleen whales. But as its food source migrated to colder polar waters where Megalodon couldn't go, the king's dinner table started to look a little empty. This is where the great white shined. Being smaller, it needed way less food. It was nimble and could happily survive on seals, dolphins, and smaller whales. In fact, recent studies analyzing zinc isotopes in fossil teeth have confirmed that Megalodon and great whites were living in the same areas and competing for the same food. As the giant whales vanished, both sharks were forced to hunt smaller prey, and the great white was just plain better at it. The great white didn't kill Megalodon in a fight. It may have helped push it to extinction by outcompeting it for food. It was a quieter, more patient victory. While Megalodon specialized in hunting giants, the great white was a generalist that could roll with the punches of a changing planet. The verdict. So, after all that, was Megalodon the most fearsome shark to ever rule the oceans? When it comes to pure, jaw-dropping, terrifying power, the answer is a hard yes. No other shark we know of comes close to its blend of size, speed, and bone-shattering force. It was a predator that could hunt the biggest animals in the sea, a feat no other shark has managed on that scale. For millions of years, it was the undisputed top dog. But the story of power is always more complicated, isn't it? The existence of Leviathan proves that Megalodon wasn't the monster ruling the Miocene seas. A fight between them could have gone either way, and the rise of the great white shark teaches us a critical lesson from evolution. Being the biggest and baddest doesn't mean you'll last forever. Adaptability can be a far deadlier weapon in the long run. The great white didn't need to be stronger to win. It just had to be better at surviving. In the end, Megalodon was absolutely the most physically powerful and dominant shark of all time, the very definition of a fearsome ruler. But its kingdom wasn't unchallengeable, and ultimately, it was a kingdom that was destined to fall, leaving behind only its giant teeth as a haunting reminder of the king that once was. Megalodon was the ultimate powerhouse, but it vanished. The smaller, more adaptable great white is still with us today. What does that tell you about what it really means to be dominant? Is it all about power, or is it about being able to change when the world around you does? Let us know what you think down in the comments. If you enjoyed this deep dive into prehistoric titans, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more, and ring that notification bell so you don't miss our next exploration into the monsters of the deep.